Hello, guys. Thank you for coming to this sprint planning. As you guys know, this is sprint number three, so we're about 50% done. First, I want to go over the results that you guys have, the increments that you guys have done over the first two sprints. Then I want to go over about the priorities of this sprint, and yeah, let's start. So first of all, about the increments. In the first sprint, you guys develop four increments. Uh, those ones being define role selection. So here we have definition of done. So players can select a class from these three before starting the game. So that's the first increment. Then co mode. Here between 1 to 3 players can join the game locally or via online invite. Difficulty levels, character customization system. So I'm really happy with those first four increments. And then on the sprint number two, you guys develop six increments actually. The first one being character design, alternatives to avoid crafting system, skip button dialogues, define role selection, teleport system, and modding support. And I just want to go over again to some definitions of done. One of them is two alternatives to avoid crafting system is players can spend currency slash materials to increase weapons damage or armor's defense. Um, where is the one? Players can change hairstyle, hair color, and face shape at the start of the game. Uh, and then there is around here. Well, the point is you guys develop many increments. And as you guys know from the user stories, one user story that I really want to focus on this sprint is this one. As a Dark Souls fan, I like games that have Souls-like combat system. It gives the game a good level of difficulty. So this is a user story that I really want to focus on this sprint. That's why in this sprint's product backlog, I want the team to focus on these three products. So first one is non-linear world gameplay. The second one is deep lore development, and the third one is Souls-like combat system. I think this is really vital for the product to develop, and I want to know what the developers think.
Gotcha. Sorry, before the developers actually start talking, I would actually like to basically provide a little feedback just so we can move on forward to this part of the conversation or this part of the sprint. I do believe that the basically the increments that we're giving in the prior sprints were actually we're amazing. We're amazing. We're actually going through a great path now. Therefore, but I'm just having a little bit of questions or a little bit of doubts when this with this new deliverables, as I'm not very sure if we're gonna be able to basically be able to present these on time.
Yeah,
Okay,
so yeah, basically for this, as suggested, the soul-like combat system, it takes more time to actually develop these features with the game. So, but we can focus on this because it takes more time to develop, and then after after we done with the souls like combat system, because as what the Christian said, it is specifically what the user asked for the new features of the game. So I think we should respond to that uh, by providing the soul like combat system. Although it takes longer time, but it is vital to improve the game, and the users can enjoy it. They can enjoy it more.
Okay. Christian, thanks, Godwill. I'm very excited that you're excited about the Souls-like feature. So we've been thinking about it, and it's something that we really want to see in the game when it comes out, when it releases. The Souls-like combat system is um it's really nice. We all love Dark Souls, right? It's a really nice game, and being able to deliver this in a brand new game, not in a way, is really exciting. But I do agree with what Andrew said and Mundo said. It's not easy to do a Souls-like combat system, and it takes a lot of time. That's why we as the development team give it a full value. Hmm. Its around cities around 34 points. So I think if we really want to start doing the main feature, which is or one of the main features, which is the combat system, um, we'll have to break it into two different sprints. What do you think about that?
So, uh, well, I think the purpose of this product, right, is to develop a game that's inspired with Souls-like systems. So I think this is a really key important part. Also, the lore development. I would really wish if the team could like maybe do these two, like maybe three. I guess if you guys think it's too much, we will maybe we'll push it to the next sprint. But I think again, as you say, Miguel, based on you guys' velocity, I think it's pretty doable. But that's from my perspective. I guess like customers just really value these three features.
Um, I don't want to say no right away. I don't want to say no right away because it's I can't see.
L-
I wish I can see the future. Best thing I could do is plan, but we definitely have to sacrifice one or the other one, or just split them into two different ones. So because we would almost be doubling our capacity, or like the capacity for according to our velocity. Now, we could work around it, but we have to split the souls line. So if you want to, we can split it, do half of the souls line combat system by the end of the sprint, and then the other half by the next sprint. Um, do you want to change like the definition of done for the souls line system? And I can, based on what we've done so far, I can tell you like roughly what we can have by the end.
Yeah, I think changing the definition of tone will be very valuable. So, what does the theme thinks would be the new definition of tone for
So for
spring?
the new definition of dollar, I would say modeling the attacks and dodges, the attacks and dodges for the combat system. So everything will come with dodging, rolling, um, uh, attacks, and then also the attacks itself with swords, maces, magic, whatever it is. Those you can just setting those up. Like, it's got to go. What do you think?
Yeah, that's. I think I agree with Miguel. It's doable this way because I also believe that we should split this soul-like combat system, or you change the criteria, acceptance criteria. So yeah,
Um, actually, I do strongly agree with what Miguel said in the past. As he actually mentioned something very important that we got to take into consideration within the development of this project, or basically this last sprint, which is our velocity. Our velocity is a current target at 34 points. While we hit up at 27 points during the second sprint, while at the very first sprint was at 41. So right now, one of my questions, or one of the things that I think is very fragile, is that if we're not going to be disrupting, or we're going to be overdoing, or basically overflowing our current capacity. That is one of the things that I wanted to point out. As also, I wanted to have a look if we could have the chance to also analyze what we have done in the previous sprints, just as a major overview, just to understand how we've been working in the past, and if we can actually manage to have all these expectations within our parameters. So if we can actually complete all this based on our previous works.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then like this will be better, right? Like non-linear world gameplay, deep lore development, and then attack modeling.
Yep, that's better.
Okay, so let's move this to the sprint backlog. Okay, so the sprint for the backlog for the sprint will be these three items. Uh, so Andre, talk to me about some of the goals the team has. The goal number one and goal number two. Like, what does the team? How does the team looks like?
Gotcha. So basically, right now, the three goals, or basically what we have set out for the last sprint in this case, as we're basically, as we can see right now, it is basically upgrading the item system. So basically, it's a top priority. The cinematics for the boss fights, which is also a second priority, also sticking with 13 points. Well, we also have the mounts and then the saddles developments, which should be basically just set up or basically prioritize the least important in this case with only 5 points. Which, as if it only has 5 points, this does not mean that it does not have any relevance. It's just that it's something that we can probably start delegating or contemplating for further work in upcoming days or upcoming work days in this case.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
So how about the sprint goal number two? How was you guys' previous sprint retrospective? Like, what do you think the developers can be do better?
Based on our previous performance, given this new criteria, given this new backlog, I think we can do this and deliver on time, because this is less complicated compared to the first suggested.
Oh,
So
but it means sprint retrospective, Edgardo. It means sprint retrospective.
mm,
So how like the communication side, how the team works.
ah
Uh,
yeah, on my side, there's nothing, there's no barriers into this. I I completed the task, and then is I have received the support, and with Miguel, and also with from Christian and Andre, all the support that you have given to me while developing the game is sufficient enough. So I guess I'm good on my part. There's no really barriers in anything.
what would you say, Andre? Would you say that from a sprint retrospective last time have we changed? Because looking back at it, Christian, we like us like Christian, like Andre mentioned, it really comes down to team delegation or like task delegation, I should say. We've coming into many multiple like not I don't want to say multiple, but we've come into issues where the task delegation is not as as good as it could be, and it ends up being a load on maybe management team or not, but like the senior developers. They don't want to delegate tasks to like more junior developers because they might be, nervous that they might make mistakes on the code or on the game or on the design or modeling on the 3D models. So it really comes down to delegating tasks accordingly and trusting each other. Also, the trust part is really important because, you know, having conversations with the junior staff, it comes to like, oh, they just do the easy stuff, right? And then some of the senior guys don't really don't really delegate or give them opportunities to shine their talents with new with this new task. So for example, the attack system, it's a complex thing. And I'm pretty sure that if we leave everything to the senior development team, it's just gonna be a huge load on it. So we need to start having that delegation and that trust that it requires and have accountability and responsibility. So if you're a junior and you really want to do this, when things go wrong, when there's a mistake, you have to, yeah, have that accountability and say, okay, I should have done this, and this is what I'm gonna do to not make that mistake again, and deliver better, uh, deliver it better next time.
I think yeah, it is very important. I think that it's very important that you just clarify all this and that you bring this up to the conversation, as it is something that we can really discuss on to basically to get an improvement of the development of this last sprint. As you have said in the past, delegation is really a necessary step of within this process, as we can basically concentrate our efforts so we do not either overwork, and then we know how to manage the task and also at the same time work in cooperation with others. For example, in this case, well, either Miguel is handling a certain a scenario or a certain feature, let's say by covering either the UI, the backend logic, or even just by balance the testing. And Edgardo might be handling either the cinematics and a couple other things. I think that as long as we're keeping track of all this progress through the daily scrums and we update the sprint backlogs as we're learning more, we're going to be effectively completing this whole project without any major disruptions. So we're going to be able to basically either finish this project that we started or have a much better understanding of how the whole process should be. I'm not sure if you guys are either agreeing with this or if you have any other considerations, comments.
I agree. I definitely agree with you. Um, I think, yeah, I think it needs to be recorded, and it's good that it's also being recorded. Have the kind of have that paper trail, right? But all in all, it's just that we all want to see this coming together. I want to see. I'm very excited every time we finish an increment. I'm very excited to deliver it, to show the product owner. I'm very excited. Christian likes liking the product so far. But yeah, my next question is just actually to Christian, see if there's anything else that you want to change. Is there anything new trends or anything like that?
So I think we already negotiated a little bit uh, with the product backlog, like the items that are going to be the the increments that are going to be delivered this sprint. So going back a little bit for the sprint goal, would you guys say that the sprint goal would be prioritized task delegations uh, by prioritizing each own limitations and potential from previous sprints? Does that sound like a good sprint goal for
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, it sounds fair to me. Sounds fair to me.
Dun, 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 dun. There we go.
Prioritize task delegation.
And And then in this case, so basically, I just want to make sure. So, what would be the priority order in this case? Or I mean, for the sprint backlog, or how we set up something in particular, or is something that we just have not set up yet?
For which one
Uh,
again, Andrew?
So right now, basically, as where we mentioning that we're going to be prioritizing the task delegation. What I'm asking is that if we're going to have basically like a proper way to rank them up.
But
so for
yeah,
the
I think that would be based on the expertise. So if this, I think like for me, I can do cinematics very well. So when it comes to, it depends on the requirements of the backlog. So that's how we delegate the task. One important thing is that there should be a clear requirements, or the acceptance criteria should be clear for us to deliver the product.
thank you,
Oh,
Carlo.
okay.
I think, yeah, I think that's pretty fair. We can go over some acceptance criteria right now for the project. If that's good, we could also talk a little bit more about the user stories in this case.
Yes,
Uh,
please. That would be super useful. So if we could have a chance, just a little space, during this meeting, just so we can basically be all on track of this.
okay, so first of all, some user stories that we have already done. Uh, as a player, I prefer a game with defined classes and roles, so not too complex to get into. Basically, the acceptance criteria is that the game has a screen where users have three classes to pick from. Right? You guys said the definition of done that as a player can select a class from these three before starting the game. And then we have as a customer, I want a game with an item recycling throughout system, so any game level, so it's not monotonous. And then the acceptance criteria will be the game features an upgrade system for items used by the player.
Mhm.
And then we have the definition of done is players can spend currency materials to increase a weapon's damage or armor's defense. And all of these again, it's from sprint number one, sprint number two. And for these sprints, the definition of done will be so for the non-linear world gameplay is player is not forced to complete zone A to reach zone B for the definition of done, meaning that players can skip through some zones, so maybe they can follow the story how they like to, right? Then deep lore development, uh, where is it? It was about that there are some extra books that the player can read in each zone. Here is every major zone contains at least five readable books or notes that tell a backstory. So maybe
Okay.
it's more specified the definition of that. And then this one was the Dark Souls combat system. So again, that's what we negotiated earlier about the attack modeling, and that's gonna be the modeling the attacks and dodges for the combat system for the new definition of done that the team decided. Um, I don't know if you guys want to add anything else. Like, how's this looking?
I
To be
think
honest, yeah. Oh, sorry, Miguel. Sorry to
no, no,
interrupt,
no,
man.
it's okay. Go for it. Go for it.
To be honest, everything sounds pretty clear to me. Like we have been basically over the whole project. We have been over the last feature that we're trying to add up within. Um, I just had a couple questions in the past regarding either the velocity, if we were gonna be able to basically have it on time. But now that we had the chance to discuss this personally, I do think that based on our previous experiences and basically how we're currently working on together, we can definitely bring this project to life.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Given the new requirements and based on our previous velocity, we can develop this game
Okay,
in time.
I agree. Totally
Okay.
agree.
Well,
All right.
sounds good, guys. Thank you so much for attending this plan for this sprint planning for sprint number 3, and looking forward to see what you guys develop.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you. See ya.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
Have a great night.